Hey everybody, Bob here, and today I want to talk about going on sabbatical, taking some time off and getting the most out of it, and what you need to do in order to set that up for success. This is inspired by a former colleague of mine, Sam Spurlin, who used this methodology that we created in order to plan his own sabbatical. He wrote a great piece about it. I'll link to it below. And it was very inspiring, and it reminded me that I go on retreat all the time. I actually try to take a week or so, at least once per quarter. I'll leave New York City, rent a place outside the city, and spend some time on my own doing some writing, doing some thinking, and some reflecting. And I know how important it is to set things up for success, right? That you actually have to think about what you're going to do. You can't just kind of go away and hope for the best, but really setting yourself up for success. And I always use the all-in method to do it. So I thought I'd walk you through that today and show you how I do that and how Sam just did it too in such an inspiring way. So the first thing to remember is with the all-in method that we find that there are sort of the usual suspects, the places that we become unaligned either with ourselves or with other people, these things that are often, we think of them as the usual missing conversations. And they're the things that we want to surface through the method. So the first thing we want to surface is our values, right? And I always like to say, I can't remember who said this to me first, but that if you want to know someone's values, look how they spend their time and look how they spend their money, right? Don't ask them what their values are necessarily, but look what they're actually doing. And so you're getting ready to do something, you're getting ready to take a sabbatical. So you can go a layer deeper into your values by talking about why you're doing it, right? So you want to understand your values. The next thing that often we trip up over is our fears, right? That if we have sort of irrational or even hidden fears, or even rational hidden fears that aren't surfaced, that we're not fully aware of, they can just sort of be an annoyance, or they can pull our attention away from what it is we're trying to do. Also, there may be easy ways to kind of take care of our fears. We might actually be able to come up with something we can allay our fears in a certain way. But if we haven't surfaced it, we're still not going to be able to do that. Another thing we need to think about is our needs, right? What it helps us be our best. Like, what are the conditions that really help us be our best and help us to accomplish the things that we're trying to accomplish, or help us accomplish our why. And finally, we like to end sort of on a high note with all of our methodologies, but this one especially, with what we really hope is going to happen, right? Values is what gets us in the door. Like, I'm doing this in order to get clear. That's fine. That's great. That's a why. But then the vision might be something much bigger, right? Like, oh, well, then I'll have an outline for the next big project, the next big book that I'm writing, the next big article that I'm working on, something like that, right? So what's the best expression of those values that kind of got you in? So with the all-in method, we are just going to ask about our intentions, and this helps us surface our values, right? If I ask about values directly, I often don't get good information, but if I ask somebody why they're doing something, what your intentions are, that often surfaces the values conversation in an interesting way. By asking about people's concerns, like what worries you, what concerns you about this particular situation, we can kind of get at their fears. If we ask about boundaries, like what are the boundary conditions? What helps you be your best? What time would you get up? And what are the things you are sure you want to have happen, or the things you are sure you don't want to have happen, right? Like, I want to get up at 6 a.m. every day, and I don't want to drink more than one alcoholic drink per day, something like that, right? So we know what's going to keep us at our best in order to do what we're trying to do. And finally, we ask about dreams, and in order to, again, surface that vision. I mistyped dreams there. I apologize for that. So the exercise is really simple. Just talk to yourself, right? Just say, well, what are my intentions here? Why am I doing this? You can ask it in a few different ways, but the core of the question is why and intentions. Why do I want to go away? Why do I want to take this time off? You could ask a little, maybe even like, what do I hope for? Like, what are the things that if I envision myself doing this, what are the things that, like, what's my motivation here, right? Like, be an actor about it. Next, you just sort of ask yourself, okay, so what am I worried about? What are my concerns? and journal about it. We usually like to set a clock, right? Like just maybe even journal for 5 minutes on each of these questions, because sometimes the first thing we answer is not the best thing. We actually need to go a little bit deeper. So, what are my intentions? What are my concerns? What are my boundaries? What are the things that I'm sure I want to have happen and I'm sure I don't want to have happen? Again, I think what time am I going to get up? How much alcohol am I going to drink? Am I going to exercise every day? Am I going to turn my phone off at certain times? Am I going to see people? Am I not going to see people? If it's a work sabbatical, am I going to check Slack? Actually, that was one thing that Sam brought up in his piece, which I really liked, because he's like, look, I'm not going to check Slack. I'm not going to be present in the digital workspaces because I really want to see what emerges when I'm not there. And then finally, what are my dreams? Like, what are the things, or we could even say desires, right? What are the things that I'm really hoping for, that I'm really wishing for? And for this one, I like to put myself into the future. I like to say, okay, I'm leaving the sabbatical. I'm coming back home. I'm on the train. I always take the train when I go away. So I'm on the train and I'm coming back home. How do I feel? Like, what have I accomplished? What's in my notebook? What's do I feel? I feel very well rested, I hope. I feel very clear about what I'm going to do in the coming quarter. I feel maybe I've had some inspirational moments where I'm like, oh, I have this whole new area of intellectual exploration I'd like to read up on, and a list of books that I'd like to read up on. Or maybe I've mastered this one topic. Like, there's this one topic. So, intentions, concerns, boundaries, and dreams. We find having this conversation with ourselves, and again, we also recommend having it with other people. We'll talk about that in a moment. But when we have it with ourselves, it's really, really helpful in helping us get clear on why we're going on sabbatical, why we're taking the time off from work, and really what kind of renewal we're hoping to create. And we can also share this list with our loved ones. And I think that's one of the reasons Sam shared it with so much. He shared it widely on LinkedIn, which was really inspiring, because then people sort of hold us accountable to that. People also know what they can ask us for and what they can't ask us for. And also, I think it inspires other people. He got, people were really inspired by his piece, as was I. So anyway, that's it. If you're curious about this sort of all-in method, if you haven't seen it before, it is the core of our book, Radical Alignment. You can find it on our website, alignmentco.com. You can also find it on Amazon or your favorite bookseller. And we have a lot of extras as well. We have scripts. We have how to use this conversation in a variety of formats, not just with yourself, but how to use it in order to guide really difficult conversations on your team. So go pick up a copy of our book if that's of interest to you. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful rest of your week.